Hello everyone, welcome for this new video tutorial. So today we will have a look on how to make trees in Blender. So it's a new way to make trees. I did discover an add-on recently. I did release recently a full training to make nature environments, and during my experiment I did discover this add-on. It's a modular tree add-on, and it makes tree with node system. Can you believe that? So we will have a look on this. It's for now it's an unknown add-on. Not much people use it, and I didn't see a lot of references on internet or whatever, or tutorials. So it's still under development, but it's totally usable how it is now, and you can make really beautiful trees far better than what we have in Blender with sapling add-on, I found. So let's have a look on this. And first of all, to find this add-on, where to go? It's free. You will go to search modular add-on tree Blender, and you will have here a Blenderartist thread that you can click on it, and here you will have the download repository here on GitHub. Okay, so thanks a lot. Maxim is a very good coder and made us this really good add-on. So let's have a look on that. I will not introduce you all the features of this add-on because you can make a lot of things with it, but I will just show you how to make a basic tree in a few clicks. Okay, so let's have a look, and here we'll have download the latest release, and you can click on download modular tree.zip here. I did download it already, and we will just install this into Blender. So I will go to File, User Preferences, and I will just go into Install Add-on from File. I can go into my download folder, okay, and I will download modular tree here. I will just, sorry, not download, install. So I click on modular tree and install add-on from File, and I will have my add mesh modular tree here. Good. So what we have here: location, view, 3D, tools, tree, make tree, and we have here a tab. So view 3D is here, tools it's here, tree it's here. Good. So we have our add-on. So our add-on, we will just save user settings, just in case you want to you don't want to enable it each time you use Blender. So we have this, and now I will just select everything. You will have my shortcuts here as usual. Select everything with A and delete everything. And with Shift T, I will just put the cursor in the center, and with 5, I will go into orthographic view. So what we have here: wind, import bar materials, display and trunk, yeah. Where I add my tree? Nowhere here actually. What is good is that you use node editor to make this. So we'll just split our views there and use the node editor, and you can see that by default here you have the material settings here, you have the texture settings here, and the compositing text nodes here, but here you have a new one, and this is the modular tree. If you just let it here, it's modular tree, not tree. Okay, so let's make a new one, and we will call it tree system 1. Okay, and let's go ahead and create our tree. So basically it works like all the nodes we have. With Shift A you add a node. Okay, you have the input value that you put on the left and the output values that you put on the right, like all the nodes, if you know little nodes. If you don't know anything about nodes, I really recommend you to have a look on how cycles nodes works and everything. But if you are a little confident with it, you will really enjoy this way of making trees. So let's add the first node. This node will be an input, it will be a trunk. You can draw your own trunk yourself by using the grease pencil. For now, I find it not totally stable yet for the grease pencil features, so I will not show you this now, but I hope Maxim will make it better. So for the trunk, now I have my trunk first node with some parameters here, and I will add the output, the build tree, and the build tree will be more or less on the right like this. Then I will have the possibility to add a split and a grow that I will put in the middle like this. And basically this is how it works. After you can duplicate a grow and duplicate splits between the trunk and the build tree or everything, but I mean that's how it works for the basics, okay? And we will just show the basics into this tutorial. So we will just click and drag this and this just to link the node as well, okay? And now we have the possibility to just create a tree, and what it does, it creates a tree. So let's have a look on here the build tree and the possibility that we have to create the first shape of the trunk, okay? So you have a seed that makes some variation. So if you change the seed here, you create a tree again, and you have a new tree with a new seed, but with the same parameters here. You have the possibility to change the scale, you have the possibility to change the preview to go to a final. For example, here you can see that here it's preview mode, and in the preview mode you can see that it's really squares, very low poly, and the branches doesn't link to the trunk here. So to have a better thing, you go to final and you create a tree again, okay? But this usually you do it when you are satisfied with the global shape of your tree, okay? So for now, let's go for just preview. You have the possibility to build an armature here and a possibility to create particles, and we will use it in the end of the tutorial to add some branches, because you can make twig very easily with this add-on too. So let's go to find, let's say we want to find a good shape for our tree, and I will just use now the settings here to show you how it works. So basically the radius, I wouldn't call it a radius actually, I would call it the age of the tree, because more you grow the radius, okay, and more it grows the tree, but not only the radius of each branches, it grows everything. So if I increase the radius and make a create tree, it will grow my tree more, okay? Like if I go 1.5, I will create a bigger and bigger, and if I make 2, it will be a bigger and bigger tree like this, okay? So this is the first thing to understand. The radius here is not really the radius, it's more the age. It's a basic radius of the trunk, but it's related with all the growing system after. So don't make mistakes on that. Be careful, because if you increase this too much after, it can take a lot of memory. So be careful by increase the parameters, and you have the possibility to auto update too if you want. So you just change this and it will change directly the shape of it. Usually I don't use it too much. You just press escape for stop it if you want, okay? And usually I don't use it too much, because sometimes if you change a parameter that needs some time to update, Blender can crash, just basically. So that's why usually I don't use auto update here. So let's continue with the parameters here. We have the height of the trunk. So if I increase the height of the trunk, it will be 20, let's say, for example, and I will create something more straight and longer here, as you can see. So you can change this parameter. You can change the branch length. The branch length is not really the branch length itself, it's a length between the branches here. So if I put 0.2, for example, and make a create tree, you will have something very little with not space between each division like that, okay? So just to show you, I think 0.9 is a good value. The radius decrease of the trunk, so it's a factor to decrease the radius of the trunk as it grows. The randomness is the randomness of the trunk. The up attraction is to go the faculty to go up for the trunk, and the twist is just to make a rotation on the z-axis. Usually these parameters you don't have to tweak it a lot. Here the split values are already a little more interesting. So the split values, it's a way that the branches, let's say the big branches that start from the trees, grows, okay, and how they start from the tree here. So the probability here, if you increase it, you will have something with a lot more branches, okay, and if you increase it more at one, you will have more and more branches. Okay, yeah, I did it. So you can decrease this to 0.3 to have a look after. The split angle in front view, maybe, yeah, you will have this angle here. So if I decrease it to 30, it will be something more like that. Okay, so easy one. And the spin, it's when you watch it into the top view, you will have the angle between each subdivision like that. So it's 45 too. If you decrease, for example, it will give you something differently. Especially if you make something very little like 10, you will have really all the branches in the same side, and that grows 10 degrees, 10 degrees, 10 degrees. Okay, so easy to understand. Nothing to change here for now. The head size, usually it increases the size of the beginning of each branches basically. So 0.6 is good because like this, I mean, it's a good value for what we have here. But you can change it as well if you need. For example, if you make something very little like 0.2, okay, you make a create tree, and you will have something that is more little here. 0.6 is really a good value here. The offset is an interesting one because here, for example, if you want to let the trunk free of branches, the beginning of the trunk here free of branches, you can just increase this to 10 and go to create tree, and like this here it will be free of branches, and you will have your first branch here. Let's say we would like something like that. And okay, so now we have the possibility now to manage here the settings of the grow. And what is the grow settings? It's more or less the settings of how each branches will subdivide itself and will grow like that. Okay, so if I decrease the radius, be careful with the radius too, it's the same as the radius of the trunk. If you decrease the radius here, it will let the branches grow more, okay? So it's not really the global radius, it's a final radius that you can have. And if you create a tree again, you can see that the radius is the same here, but it goes far more okay, so, and the branch length will decrease your branch length if you just want to decrease it. Okay, the randomness of this will give some crazy things sometimes if you want to make witches trees or something like that, but let's say 0.2 for what we want here. No, maybe 0.1 is enough. Okay, I will increase a little the length of it, yeah, to have something like that. And the gravity strength here is very good because you can make for example a tree with a lot of gravity like 0.9, and it will be something like that. Okay, so interesting. And you can invert this as well. If you go on the other side, it will go something like that, so more like a poplar. And we will use maybe something like 0.6 for our purpose here to keep, yeah, something like that would be good. And the split probability, it's a split probability for each branches, so if you increase this, it will just increase the subdivision into each branches. So don't go too far with this because after you can have too much. So maybe 0.6 for this will be enough, and 0.5 for this will be enough. Good. So we start to have a global shape interesting for our tree, and the shape factor is like kind of pruning. So if you increase this at 5, it will kind of cut all the branches like this to make a kind of shape like that. So if you make 0 like that, it will just grow totally. And the up attraction, it's a little the same as gravity strength here, so nothing to worry about. So that's it. Let's say we have the shape that we want. Okay, so now we have a global shape that is interesting, and we would like to work with that. So let's go with the seed and find the seed that suits us to make our tree finished. Okay, yeah, maybe 41. Let's have a look. 41, I like it. Okay, so let's say I like this shape and I would like to keep it like that. Maybe I will just increase the split probability a bit. Yeah, but not a lot. Good like this. And now we would like to create, let's say, our final tree. And to make this, we will just go into our final here resolution. We'll create a tree again. We will have a look if everything is okay, but usually it works well, as you can see. And you have the possibility to create particles as well, and that's what we will do too. We will create particle, and we will keep the options like this, and we will just create particles like that. Create tree again, and now we have two objects. We have the tree leaves emitter, and we have the tree itself. Okay, the tree leaves emitter, it's just some faces that are well oriented and are ready to grow our branches, okay, to grow our twigs. So what we will do, we will separate this into different layers just to not have everything in the same layer and to can separate them easily. So first of all, our tree will keep it there. Here with M, I will just put this into my second layer, okay, and like this I will have my particle system into my second layer, and I will manage this layer. The first thing we will do before manage the particles, it will be to manage the material of the tree. And to do that, we will import bark materials, and it will import bark materials. But you will tell me, okay, but there is nothing there. Yes, there is something. You can see different materials that this add-on gives, and you will have the oak or the birch, and I will show you how it works. By now we just go into the tools here to make a smooth shading into our tree, okay, to have something like this. And now we would like to see how it looks, because I did put my birch here shader, but I would like to see it. So if I go to render view, I see something, but it's not really what I would like. So I recommend you to use easy HDR to make a proper lighting. So yeah, it's easy to find how it works. It's a simple add-on. It's free and it works very well. You don't have to buy anything to have an easy way to manage HDRI, and you can just download HDRI from HDRI Heaven. That is very good website. I recommend you to go there if you don't know anything about that. And to make a proper lighting, so you will install easy HDRI and it will give you this. So after, you just have to create world nodes. It will make something pink like this because there is no image, and you will select a folder with all your HDRI. So I will just go in my HDRI Heaven Fair folder. I did even rename HDRI Heaven. As you can see, I like this website. And so I will just remove relative path and accept it. And now I have the possibility to see my shader. So here we'll just remove the background like this, and to focus really on our tree, and we have the possibility like this just to have a look on the different settings like that, so how it will look. So we have first one that is a birch, but we have a oak too, as you can see. Okay, that makes interesting result. maybe with another, with something a little less strong, like this. Okay, I let the render come, and you will see that these materials are interesting to use. You can tweak them as well after, but it's good to have just one click and you have your material ready to use. Okay, so for this we can use maybe the org just as an experiment, and we have our material on our tree, really easy. And I will come back into my non-render view, and we will just build our twigs and make particles for our tree now. So basically, to make the particles, I will go into the third layer here, and I will go into the tree tab there, and I will just make a twig. Easy, no? And what is good with this twig system is just you have a seed here, you increase the seed, and you have different branches that will come very easily. The parameters are easy to understand. You have the length factor to increase the length of each branches. The iteration will give more and more subdivision, okay, to have something like that. So maybe I will keep 5 and a length like 20, like in the beginning, it was good. And you have the radius here to the randomness if you want to add some random. You have the possibility to the split probability to show the gravity strength to make it go down or go up. I really like that. Isn't that cool, this? And you have here the possibility to make serrats, so with different shapes of leaves, and you have a palmatisat, like just kind of leaves like that. But we will keep this one palmate like this, and with Shift D you will have this already, so with a nice shader on the leaves and a nice under shader too. If you select this, the right place, please, thank you. And a nice under shader, I said, so to have different shading from under and from the top, and it works very well. So this shader is here, the palmate shader, and you will have the possibility to tweak it. It's more or less a translucent and a principle that is mixed with a hue saturation value here and a back-facing value. So it's a good one, and as it seems easy to grow leaves, maybe we should continue. And I will just decrease a little the gravity strength with Shift D to have something a little less crazy, let's say. Something like that is good. Okay, and now we have a branch, we keep it, we put it there. We want to make another, make twig. And you change the seed, maybe a little parameters, like you want a bigger one, 25, you change the seed again to have something different. Okay, maybe not different enough. Yeah. Oh, maybe not different enough again. Ah, this one is different. Okay, let's go. And we create a new one again. And this one will be a different seed and a different length, like 15 maybe, to have something a little more little. And we will go there. And the last one, make twig. And this one will be another seed again with a little, yeah, a little value like this. So we'll have our different branches. As we can see in rendered view, we have this shading that is really too orangey. I really don't like this shader, so by default, so we can just go there and decrease this to give a more natural look here, and that will suit better with our tree here, the shader of the tree that we have. Okay, so you can play with this shader very easily. What is good is that it's the same shader for all the twigs, but what is good too is that it makes separate shader palmate for each twigs. So if I take that one, for example, and add here Shift A shader, color, sorry, bloom hue saturation and decrease the hue like 0.45, let's say, I will have something with a more yellowish color here. Okay, so I will do the same more or less for this one too. I will add here color hue saturation and maybe we'll decrease it like 0.47. It's just to have different variations of color inside your tree after. And maybe this one I will make the invert and we'll go with Shift A color hue saturation and increase it a little like 0.53 maybe. Okay, let's say a little less, 0.52. But you can see that you will have a gradient between the four colors like that now, and that it will give a more natural look into your tree, because even if it's the same species, sometimes it depends of the season and whatever, the leaves can have different colors into it. So that's it for just add some variations into this. And with this now we can just select everything and make a group with Ctrl G. And this group, we will call it twigs. Oh, what a surprise. We will call it twigs, and we will go into our particle system, select our particle emitter, and just go there. And the particle system is already done. It's perfect, this. Let's go there, and we will just select group and select the twigs. And we will have our branches that will come. If you just increase the size of it, you will have nice branches into your tree. And that's it. And as you can see, it works quite well. You can increase the size, change the random size, if you need, if you want. Okay, maybe something like that. But as you can see, it grows very well and the result is really good. And I was really surprised to have a tree with a nice shader like this, easy to grow, easy to build, and really fast actually. And when you know the system here, it goes very fast. I mean, you need only 10 minutes to build a tree, and look what you have. I mean, it looks good. If you go now to the here the easy Hdri and change the lighting, like maybe, I don't know, something more direct lighting like this one, okay, or let's say maybe more like that one, you will have really something that works nice. And what is good is to see under the tree here you have really a nice translucent shader that makes really the job perfectly. Look at this. So this is really a powerful system. I really recommend you to experiment a bit with it, because it really was a price. It's free. So don't hesitate to go. If you want to have a look more deeply of the possibilities of this add-on, you can have a look on my training. I will put the link under the video. And so enjoy and happy blending.